What's up, leaders? Hey, thanks for taking time to watch this video as we talk about how to lead ourselves well. One of the things I believe is that leaders are learners, and so one of the things we need to do if we're going to lead ourselves well is we need to be prepared to lead ourselves well mentally. Over the course of this series, we're just using kind of as a foundation to build from 1 Samuel chapter 30, and in that chapter we find King David, and he's in a very difficult leadership position. And it gets to a point in verse 6 where the Bible says that he went out and encouraged himself. And so there's a point, leaders, where you get to a place where there's nobody else to make the decision, there's no buffer zone, there's no one else, it's just you and you're leading. And what are you going to do? We need to learn how to lead ourselves well so that in those difficult moments we make wise decisions. So here's a couple of things that I do in order to try to set myself up to lead as best I can, to lead myself well mentally. The first thing I do is I read. One of the goals I've set for myself this year is to read one book a month. I like to take a little bit of time in the books that I read to read them a little bit more slowly, to try to apply all of the stuff inside that I read. You may read faster than that, and that's awesome, but whatever you're doing, make sure you're taking the time to read the book, to process it well, and to apply it so that you can actually use in your leadership what you're reading. Another thing I do is I spend time weekly in a coaching meeting. And so one of the things you can do well, leader, to learn and to grow in your own leadership is to spend time with somebody else who is a better leader than you. Let them know, say, this is my plan, this is what I'm thinking about doing, this is where I'm headed, and allow them in their wisdom to say, yeah, that's a great idea, you should do that. Or also be humble enough to hear them say, that's a bad idea, you shouldn't do that. You should think about these three things, or whatever the plan might be. But be humble enough to hear that maybe you aren't on the right track. Another thing I've been doing, I'm a campus pastor, I'm in ministry, so one of the things I've been doing lately is listening to podcasts. And because a lot of what I do is communicating, I listen to guys who are also really good communicators. So in my line of work, I've been listening to Tim Keller and Matt Chandler and Andy Stanley to try to learn from them mentally kind of how to communicate things even as a leader, but I'm mentally trying to grow in my own leadership by listening to other guys who are better than I am. Hey, we're going to be diving into some other topics over the next few weeks. I hope you'll join me and be a part of that. I'd love to hear what you do to grow yourself as a leader mentally, whether it's reading a book, podcasting, coaching meetings, whatever it is you're a part of. I'd love to hear from you. So take time to subscribe below. Tell me what you do. Comment on the video. Let me know what you're doing to grow as a leader, and I look forward to seeing you guys at part 2 of Leader, Lead Yourself.